Hey to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Chiro Tax Pro, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 197 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your co-host, Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Janet Rogers, and if you want to know more about the fitness component to chiropractic, stay tuned. All right, so today we are here with Janet Rogers coming in from New York, and Luke and I are out here in Colorado, and this is episode 197 of the Chiro Hustle podcast, and we're super excited to have you as our guest today. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And I had the opportunity of seeing you speak, I think it was maybe only a minute out in Indianapolis, and your story really touched me, and I saw you immediately after that, and I was like, hey, do you want to be on our show, Chiropractic Podcast? And you had a few questions for me, and I'm like, just do it.
I was like, okay.
So here we are today. And as we always do our show, we like people to open up by sharing their chiropractic story and what influenced them to become a chiropractor. And I know you were practicing chiropractor for 13 years, and now you mostly focus on personal training and development of people as a chiropractor. So maybe share your chiropractic story with our audience so people know what actually was the big idea for you to become a chiropractor.
Sure. So I first went to a chiropractor in my early 20s when my back suddenly went out on me, my low back. And he was a real old school guy. He did all this weird traction stuff and everything, but I felt better. But my back would act up every few years, and so I'd go back to a chiropractor for a little while. But none of them really talked to me about chiropractic being more than just like pain relief until I started seeing a network chiropractor in my mid-30s, I think. And then I really got the idea that it's about unleashing the potential within the body to heal itself and, keeping the nervous system healthy. And that was really exciting to me, but I still didn't think I was going to be a chiropractor. I was going to go to graduate school to be a women's history teacher, professor. But man, that was when I was like, am I going to graduate with, all this student loan debt and be competing with 20-somethings for the very few tenure track positions there are in the country right now? And it just didn't seem like a good thing. Didn't seem like a good thing to pursue, a good bet. And it was the CA at the office that said she was going to go to chiropractic college. And I was like, well, if she could go, I could do that too. And I was just very excited about this idea of being able to help people in this way and unleash their healing potential. And, and also because as a personal trainer, nutrition specialist, chiropractor, those are all educator positions. We help people to understand a lot about themselves. And I've always been a teacher in every job that I've had. I love teaching. It's something that, comes very naturally to me. I had one client in the last office where I worked. He was a young guy, and he was a real smart guy, worked for McKinsey, and he would ask me all these questions all the time. And he'd really make me think too. So I love that about him. His name was Dan. And finally, his wife started coming too. And she said, I had to come in because I was so tired of Dan saying, well, Dr. Janet says. So, I got accepted. I went to Life Chiropractic College. I had to do my science prereqs first. And I graduated in 2004.
But your story is very unique because I know that you came into the chiropractic profession a little bit longer into your life, and you had a career before chiropractic. So maybe share with us your career before chiropractic and when you actually decided, the age that you decided to become a chiropractor?
Well, my first career was working at my parents' restaurant when I was 13. So I continued to work in food service right up through my 20s. You know, I did pretty much everything at one time or another. I cooked, I cleaned, I managed, I bartended. And then I wanted to get out of that world, and I started doing word processing, and that worked into doing software training and support for large, like financial services and legal law firms here in New York City. And I was doing that part-time to put myself through my undergrad, which I did in my 30s. I graduated undergrad at 40 because I'd been a wastrel in my 20s. I was a stoner. So, there were a few lost years there. So then I got my undergrad at 41, and then I started working full-time in that industry of, software training and support. And I didn't love it. I didn't love it at all. And I was looking for something else to do. And that's when, I thought I was going to go to grad school, do that. And then I discovered the big idea of chiropractic through this network chiropractor. And I guess I moved to California, and I did my prereqs when I was 45, and I started chiropractic college at 46, right when I was going through perimenopause, which is, the effect that has on your memory. It's just a true joy to try to be in chiropractic college. Your memory is suddenly shot from the hormonal changes.
But you said during our pre-chat that you realized that you had this career that was wrecking your body, and you were leaving work and you were limping to the subway. And is that when you started chiropractic care?
No, that was when I left chiropractic to become a personal trainer. So I graduated in 2004, June of 2004, right around the time I turned 50. And that had been my goal, to graduate before I was 50, or by 50. And listen, a friend of mine told me about a guy that just graduated like a year ago, and he's 76. So I want to meet this guy. But so what? Yeah. So I had my own practice at one point. Wasn't very successful with it. I didn't love working on my own. I discovered I was much more comfortable and happy working as part of a team. And so when I came back to New York in 2014, I joined the practice of a gentleman that I'd actually gone to chiropractic college with, one of my best friends from school. And he had an interdisciplinary practice, which was in alignment with my philosophy. Because I think that, 100 years ago, when our lives were so much less complicated, when we didn't have all these devices we're addicted to, and we didn't have all this shit in our environment and in the stuff we put on our body and the stuff we put on our face and the food we put in and just all the stress that we're subjected to and the pollution, I think chiropractic was enough, And I honestly, it's still very powerful on its own, but I was more interested in working with a team of people so that we're serving the needs of helping people be healthier. So in the practice where I was working, I was actually the clinical wellness director, and it was my job to coordinate the care of one part of my job, to coordinate the care of all our clients with all of our services that, they needed. Not everybody needed everything. That we would, when we recommended a program for them, it wouldn't just be chiropractic. It'd be maybe chiropractic and massage and some personal training, or, chiropractic and some physical therapy. So I still think that I'd rather, have that coordinated within one program under the doctors, rather than have them going to physical therapy someplace else and then, There's not much communication there, like that. So it was about 2014 that I just, I have disc problems in my lower back. I injured them in one of the offices I worked in very early on. It was just getting so flared up every time I did work that I was really in a lot of pain.
And so now you focus more on personal training?
Yeah, my license isn't active, so I'm not practicing as a chiropractor. My focus is on personal training and nutrition. I did work in one chiropractic office right after I got out of school in New Jersey. This guy was a character. He'd never had anybody in his practice before. He was totally OCD, and he was open 4 days a week, and he was open for like 12 or 13 hours straight through, no break for a meal. And it was a waitlist practice. People walked in, signed a list, sat down and waited, and they would wait up to 2 hours to see this guy. He was that freaking good. He was amazing. But he'd wrecked his body doing this. So he finally had to bring an associate in, which was me. And then I proceeded to wreck my body working under those conditions. So part of the injury stemmed back to that as well. But I still wouldn't trade that experience. It was something like I've never experienced in my life. The first day I worked, I adjusted 86 people. And I felt like I had been beat up with a stick. I ached all over. So, that's kind of my chiropractic arc and story. I still love chiropractic. I get adjusted myself. It's a beautiful art, and it's beautiful what it does for people. And I also think it's important for us as chiropractors to practice what we preach. If we're going to talk about health, then we should be practicing healthy habits, not just getting adjusted. So I don't understand it when, I see chiropractors it's like seeing medical doctors who smoke, right? So, I kind of don't understand it when I see chiropractors who don't look very healthy, not to be judgy, even though I am a little judgy.
Well, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your personal training program and what it entails in case any of our listeners are interested.
Sure. Well, thank you for that opportunity. I started doing personal training. Well, my background in my own physical fitness is that I never worked out a day in my life till I was in my 50s. And I had gained 200 pounds before I went to chiropractic. I'd gone up to 200 pounds before I went to chiropractic college, coming out of a really painful divorce. And so I started doing some working out, and then I joined CrossFit. And I don't know if either of you know too much about CrossFit, but it can be competitive fitness. And I did compete in CrossFit, and I became a badass with a barbell. I ended up competing in the International CrossFit Games. I qualified to go there. Only the 20 top men and women in any given age group get to go to the games. And that was in 2015, and I placed number 6. So at the age of 55, I was the 6th most fit woman in CrossFit world in my age range. And that was pretty cool. And it was just through my own journey in physical fitness and in training that it did so much more for me than made me look good. And I started paying a lot more attention to my food as well. It made me strong inside. It made me feel like I didn't feel like an imposter anymore. The confidence and the determination that I developed in that world carried out into my whole daily life. And so when I had to leave chiropractic and I was trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do? It was like, I want to give that to other people. And I particularly want to give it, I think I'm particularly suited to match with women who are age 40 and up. I do work in a health club right now. I work at Equinox, which is kind of a high-end luxury brand of personal gym, if you want to call it that. We call them health clubs. And I have found that that's the market that I attract there. That's the demographic that I attract. You know, they see me and they're like, well, I want to be like her. You know, a college kid doesn't look at me and say, I want to be like her. Or a bro guy, you know, they don't resonate with me. So at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm developing, when the gyms closed, we had to start doing virtual personal training over Zoom. And so I became quite good at that. I became quite good at doing it, even if somebody doesn't have hardly any equipment, just using body weight and different things. There's a hell of a lot you can do with a straight back chair and a gallon water bottle. And, you know, maybe a few bands. And so I'm in the process of developing my own company. I'm getting a website put together. It's not quite up yet, where I'm going to be offering virtual training and nutrition, because really, you know, working out is such a small part of really making your body healthy. You have to manage your stress. You have to, you know, it's 90% nutrition and 10% working out. And it's a beautiful package for me, because one of the reasons I became a chiropractor is because nutrition is part of our scope of practice. So I've practiced nutrition in my whole time as a chiropractor already. And I'm also, you know, because I'm a chiropractor, I can actually recommend specific supplements in specific amounts to my clients. Now, a personal trainer can't do that. It's not in their scope of practice. They can only say something like, oh, well, you probably should take some fish oil. Here's a couple of good brands. There's a store down the street where you can get it. So I can be much more specific in, you know, in just helping people with different health issues that they have. They go kind of like above and beyond just working out and getting fit.
So from your perspective, how do you think the world could change if everyone started getting adjusted and watching their diet more?
Man, the consciousness, the collective consciousness would suddenly like springboard to another level. I really think so. Because, I mean, look at Eastern traditions where, you know, when you're going through different stages of spiritual development and that you're very specific about not eating certain things, or, you know, and it's all so that you can be more connected, right?
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, Chiro Thin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Chiro Tax Pro, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
To take care of yourself that way, that requires a degree of self-love and self-awareness that unfortunately still a lot of people don't have. And I think that, you know, I mean, like all of us, when I was a chiropractor, most people came in because they hurt, right? We've all experienced this. But a lot of them stayed for the other benefits once they started realizing the other benefits. And, you know, I mean, like my least favorite and most favorite thing was when somebody would come in and say, yeah, my back feels better, but you know what? Maybe it's my imagination, but I think I'm sleeping better too. And I'd be like, no, it's not your imagination. It's because you're getting adjusted. So I just think, I think there would be, and then the more bigger picture of that, if people were eating better and getting adjusted, is think how much more that they could fulfill what they're really here to be. Think how much more they could affect other people's lives in positive ways. So the ripple effect is profound to me.
Yeah, when you're talking about this fit lifestyle, people have always told me that 80% of it's in the kitchen. And,
True.
And the other part that most people are losing the component of is control of their mind. And the reason that people cheat on what they eat is because they let their mind take over, and instead of the end game, they don't see the end in sight. They just see what's in front of them at the moment. So I think a lot of it's teaching people how to be more mindful with their decision making. And when you have a strong sense of mind, then you have a strong sense of discernment and a strong sense of decision. And then you go see the chiropractor regularly, and your body starts to heal naturally. And the food choices you make can be guided a lot better. And 80% of it is made in the kitchen then. And then you do whatever exercise you teach people, whether it's, walking 30 minutes after you eat your dinner, or you teach them how to start working out with jugs of water. And,
oh yeah, I love it.
And you teach them how to start working out with hands.
Here's my jug. I don't work out with it, but I use it for my clients to demo.
Whatever path it is, Janet, you teach people.
I work out with these. I got kettlebells.
Okay, kettlebells. But you teach people these healthy habits, and I think that that's really where we're at right now, especially with this very confused culture of how do I stay healthy and what do I do? And that's why I think your program will take off, because you will resonate with a certain group of people that will want distance training, and they're going to want to learn from you because they see you and they can resonate with you, and they're going to be like, yeah, if she could do it, if she could, go into her mid 50s and become a doctor and shed 40 pounds and now become somebody of influence within, training people wanted to hear from you. That's why I wanted to hear from you, because I saw this powerful person that didn't know how powerful she was, giving a message to people, and you've changed me from talking for 1 minute. So I can only imagine what you're capable of doing with people that you get a chance to continuously be a part of their life.
Thank you for that. And the way I work with nutrition is I'm certified in precision nutrition, and their philosophy and training is that the reason why so many people fail when they try to make changes to their eating habits, or they try to lose weight, or any of these things, because most people know what they need to be doing, but they fail to do it, and then they have all this shame about it. And then to not feel the shame, maybe they emotionally eat. So it's just this vicious circle. And then they try to first of all, there's so much freaking noise out there. There's so much conflicting information about this and that and the other, and what you should do, and this diet's better, and keto, and now it's intermittent fasting, and now it's like whatever. And then they try to make a really steep slope of change, right? So I don't work with people that way. I help them arrive through a series of interview questions at incremental changes that they think they can be successful with. And then we continue to build on those incremental changes. We build on that success over time. So, you may be a person who drinks 12 cans of Mountain Dew a day and, lives on McDonald's. And within a year, if you want to make change, if you're concerned about that, I can have you eating a heck of a lot healthier, and it's not going to be effort on your part.
That's cool. So let's transition the conversation a little bit towards the chiropractic profession again, and where you see what's possible. Like, I know people want to talk about like this limited number or limited percentage that chiropractors actually see. What happens when we double that? I mean, where do you see the profession going possibly in the next 15, 20 years?
I really think it's going to take off, because I think that this COVID has really made people much more conscious of being more responsible for their own health, right? I mean, we're definitely seeing that in the physical fitness world. All of a sudden, the gyms were closed, and people were like, people who went to gyms, they were like, I still got to get my workout. How am I going to do that? And all kinds of resources became available, but also, you know, I'd see people working out in the park. I saw a guy in Central Park, he had a pair of rings and he hooked them over the branch of a tree, and he and his buddy were doing a workout on the rings. And so I think that because people are looking for, I think they're looking more than they were before for real health, as opposed to, you know, the treatment of disease, which is trauma and disease, the treatment of trauma and disease. That's what the medical profession is for. And they're very good at that, and they have their place, that people are looking, I think, for more than that. So I think the chiropractic profession is going to just really continue to grow. I think more people are going to start utilizing it, and it won't be that 10% of the population anymore. It'll be more like that 20, maybe 25, 30. I think the sky's the limit for chiropractic.
Yeah, I think when people understand that healthy habits help with comorbidity, that people don't want to have that be a part of their culture. They're going to realize that that's how people die, and that they're going to see that the most people that are dying is because they don't take care of themselves. And if people do want to stay healthy, they have to figure out how to, as we know in our world, biohack. They're like, well, if I eat McDonald's and drink 12 Mountain Dews, I'm going to get sick, and I don't want to be sick. So people are going to have to start saying, well, what happens when I start like actually getting a cutting board and a knife and start cutting fruits and vegetables, and like, you know, actually having to like do dishes. Like, since I've been on my journey now for the past 40 days, I've dropped 13 pounds. And
good for you.
I swear I'm a professional dishwasher. While Luke was trying to get your audio up and running, I was in the kitchen doing dishes.
Dude, get a dishwasher. I have a dishwasher, and I live in New York. I had to buy it myself. It wasn't in the apartment, but yeah.
Here's the funny thing, Janet. When I was little, my mom was like, I'm not getting a dishwasher because I have 5 of them. And I just happened to be the youngest of 5.
And that's true. We didn't have one either.
So let me ask you, like, we're going to transition a little bit towards marketing.
Okay.
How do you get clients? What are you doing to get clients?
Well, I do have some private clients, meaning people I do not train through Equinox as an employee of Equinox. I don't have many, and I'm just now getting everything in place and starting to do the things that I need to do to get more private clients, because I don't want to work for Equinox forever, obviously. I want to work for myself. And so I think Instagram is important. And believe me, I don't like social media at all. It irritates the life out of me because Facebook changes how they do stuff all the time, and then I can't figure it out again. But it's the way of the world right now, right? I mean, so I've created a business page on Facebook. I've created a business account on Instagram, both under Fitrition Women. And the name of my company is Fitrition Women. So I think that you need to do those things. I think that you need to stay engaged with your audience. And that could be difficult, as we all know, because then it's like, oh, I'm supposed to post every day. What am I going to do? What am I going to post? When am I going to do that? They got so busy, I didn't have time to do that. I just found out about an app called Later, Later.com. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Yeah, so you can schedule your Instagram posts. So you could like for me, it would take probably a couple of hours at least right now, because I'm still slow at it. You can go in and just post for the week. And then ideally, of course, down the line, you have somebody else who's doing that for you. You know, you don't want to have to keep continuing to do something like that you can actually delegate. But right now, you know, it's all me. I don't know. I talk to people all the time. You know, I ask my clients for referrals. You know, I always carry business cards with me because I've been training some people in Central Park, and sometimes somebody like one lady stopped by one day and she started doing squats with us, and I was like, "Oh, honey, please don't do that because you're going to hurt your knees. You're really not doing them very correctly." And I didn't have business cards with me at the time, and I wish that I did because I could have just like given her my card. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm not the best person in the world to talk about marketing.
Okay.
Well,
I think it's more just being willing to put yourself out there.
What would you
Like
say is your favorite way to stay connected to your clients or your followers? Instagram, or would you consider Zoom a social media app?
Well, I would consider Zoom a social media app, and I have been staying connected with a lot of people through that. And again, it depends upon your demographic. So most of my demographic is older, so it's more email. They're more email kind of oriented, some of them. Let's not forget about texting. Texting is extremely important, especially with your younger people. Younger people, they do not listen to voicemails. They don't pick up the phone unless it's somebody they know. Even then, they maybe not. And they don't, you know, they don't read their emails. You've got to text.
So what are some books that you might be in the middle of enjoying right now, and what are some hobbies that you do to keep yourself fit?
Okay, so I'm reading The God Particle. I'm also reading a book that my brother gave me for my birthday. It's called How to Retire Overseas, because I intend to do that. I get a magazine called International Living, which is all about that as well, and is a great resource. The Room Where It Happened, I'm trying to get through that. It's really long. It's really technical. So I kind of go all over the place. I read a lot online just about nutrition and fitness. Right now, I'm looking at a lot of other people's websites to see what they're doing and kind of how they package things and how what they offer. And what am I binge watching right now? Ally McBeal. They finally released Ally McBeal. Do you know you could not see it on reruns at all until just recently? And I never saw it back in the day. I think it was because I think it was on when I was in chiropractic college, and I never had time to watch TV then. So, yeah, and I'm trying to learn to knit. That kind of comes and goes. Oh, and I have a cat.
I like cats.
I'm surprised he's not on my lap. He's usually just like all over me when I'm sitting here. Maybe he got shut in the bedroom. I don't know. But
So what are
he
some
brings me a lot of
websites?
joy.
What are some websites people can visit if they want to learn more about you?
Well, I don't think I'm on any websites right now, except I'll be on my own when it goes up.
What's it going to be?
It's going to be fittrition.com.
Cool.
So do you ever walk around Central Park? Is that a hobby of yours?
Well, you know what? I don't live near the park.
Okay.
But when COVID hit, well, the gyms closed on March 17th here in New York City, and they just reopened today.
Nice.
I know. First day back at work. It was so weird. But I had never walked much in Central Park because I don't live close to it. But because everything was closed and I wasn't, you know, doing much in the beginning, I spent the whole spring in Central Park. I was down there at least 2 times a week, and it is so beautiful. Just the gardens, all the flowers that they have there, and the way it's, you know, it's modeled after English parks. I don't know if you know that or not, but the person who designed it was I believe, an English designer. So yeah, it was just beautiful, beautiful.
Well, we've only been to Central Park one time, and it was a hoot. It was a lot of fun, and we walked around and just enjoyed that part of New York City, and it was just it was a treat for us to be there.
Yeah, and it got to the point where, I mean, it was really crowded on weekends because everybody that was trying to get some physical activity in was, a lot of people were going there.
Sure. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity for people right now, even as we transition into fall, to go out and get some nature and to go out there and improve their quality of life with some physical activity. And I hope they do reach out to you at fittrition.com and learn more about how you can help them with their health goals and make them better versions of themselves, for not only themselves, but for their family and their community. And, I think there's a lot to be said about nutrition component of chiropractic. And I'm so happy we had the opportunity to have this conversation with you today about what sets you on fire and why you do what you do.
Thank you so much. And thank you for, 190 what episodes?
197.
Wow. So thank you so much for providing. It's a great service you're providing, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it so much.
Well, we have a big shout out to all of our sponsors for supporting us too. So thank you all of the sponsors who are out there that support Chiro Hustle and our mission. Because our mission is to keep free speech alive and well in the chiropractic profession, and to keep the tenets of chiropractic alive with innate intelligence and subluxation-based chiropractic, because we believe that that's where we have to stick to the roots of chiropractic. Even though we are making advancements within chiropractic, we can't forget where we've come from.
Absolutely not.
Awesome.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Chiro Hustle. Dr. Janet, I want to thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you so much.
And have a great rest of your day, okay?
Thank you, you too.
Talk to you soon. All right.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.